right, welcome folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. So today I'm going old school. I'm just going to sit down for this one and take the wireless mic off and just hit the old boom. So, all right. So without further ado, hey, it's going to be Wednesday. It's 11 a.m. Central Time coming to you from the great state of Texas. And it is 7/20/2022 as the year is flying by. So let's hop over here without further ado. By the way, before I get started, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and bell for notification. But I wanted to also point out we got some new bundles in the shop. And so if you are interested in this, it's actually the beard bundle. We've got two cents, and basically you just drop them into a little kit like that. It's kind of a nice little way to present it. And we've got our own little custom boxes now going with it. So it's kind of a cool thing. And then this one here also in the shop as of yesterday. It's a new, it's like a monkey starter kit, so to speak, right? It's got the giant vinyl decal sticker. It comes with an iPad, or not an iPad, but a mouse pad. Sorry, iPad would be a little pricey, wouldn't it? And it'd be a long lead time. So, and then coffee mug and a hat and some keychains. So it's just kind of get you started with all the little paraphernalia you need to be part of the Monkey Nation. And so anyway, comes in also a nice little cool box. But anyway, just added those into the shop today. I wanted to point it out because Chimp Dude will get on to me if I don't talk about the good things we're doing in the shop that he's helping with. So, all right, without further ado, now let's hop over here to the board. We're going to kick it off today in Skyglass. Sitting at about 359 mil aircraft up currently across the United States. Pretty busy day, pretty active. We do see a lot of trainers in the air. But if we get into our watch list, we'll start out here in CONUS, which is continental United States. On our watch list here, you'll notice quite a few. We still got that Zulu up there hanging out. That's going to be that solar drone that's launched out of Yuma, Arizona. And then, of course, we have a couple of new aircraft. Now that one's, I need to dig in on this one. That is one of the Department of Energy. It's a helo, so I wonder if it's almost like the sniffer ones. A lot of Border Patrol stuff going on out there today as well. A couple E6s, one just getting off the ground there, and then one already airborne, as you see right above that. And then these are military intelligence balloons. So you can see this one is still aloft. That is going to soon be a military intel balloon. That's coming from Raven Aerospace. They've launched it. They go kick the tires and then they hand it off. So there's a couple more. There's a little Dash 8 that is Homeland Security. Now that's very similar to the FBI birds. If you remember, N721AL is the DOJ FBI bird. Looks same type of equipment. And then, of course, we got some P8 activity coming in and out of Florida, as always. Look like they're headed down to southern Florida. And then this one, two of them actually look to be headed up the coast, probably right there by that Chesapeake Bay mouth off of Virginia. And then we got let's see here, another P8. And that one right there, that purple you see is JZ. And then this is Gordo coming back across. That's going to be your Night Watch or your Doomsday plane coming back across the drink from Europe. I guess that's a day behind POTUS and his deal. So now if we get over here to the EU, you can see also got some stuff going on there. That's going to be our CL60 or a Brio 68. That's that little cool looking jet that's out running routes right there over Constanta along the border there. And then of course that R135 over the Black Sea. And then there's that B703. These are all kind of mapping the battlefields and looking at stuff. Now notice that one's right there by Kaliningrad. And then of course we got our normal little E3s or Sentries up. They're kind of working traffic there in the region. It's pretty congested given the fact that there's so much area that we can't fly over now. And I'll show you that when we get into the NOTAMs. So as we get into the heavy lifts, you're going to notice here, it's not very heavy. Actually, very light today. We got a couple C-130s rolling out of, it looks like Abilene, headed eastbound, which is kind of against the grain and flow of everything else. One popping out of Central Florida there, or west coast of Florida, sorry. And then a couple C-17s, just a heavy focus right there in the northeast in the U.S., as always. And then we get over to Europe. Notice they're starting to beat down this path. We're seeing the same steady line that runs right across there over to Constanta in and out of Europe. And then we get down into this general region, notice we've got a lot of activity going on in Israel right now, and a lot of stuff going on in Cyprus. Of course, you can see down here in the total Italy, and then a lot of more activity we've seen as of recent going on down in Portugal. Looks like that is where we're setting up shop now. Then you get up here into kind of north of Denmark, into Finland area, the Baltic Sea range. But that is going to be our heavies and our air refueler, or sorry, our heavies, sorry. And we get over to refuelers, very light, but again, same location. This is actually going to be up in the Northeast. You'll notice the run on those routes right there off the coast of DC. That is, and then right over that area where we've been watching them do a lot of activity relative to sub hunters in that Virginia Beach area. So we back up, we get over here to Europe, and we got a whole lot of nothing. I'm not seeing any air refuelers up right now over anywhere over that area. So that'll make this one a little faster than usual as we get out of it. So, okay. Now we talked a little bit about that. Let's see. We've gone into fuelers. Let's get into the Northeast Watch aircraft. Now, we've been talking about this one for a couple of days now. As you will see, yesterday we had a new bird that entered the search window there, and that is a Q4 drone flying as a score, I think it was 46. There's score 84 there. That's a P8 Poseidon sub hunter, just beating a path down. There's your P3. And this is all since last Friday, but every single day we've had aircraft up over that region looking at stuff. And then, of course, you got this Q4 drone, which we know the reach and depth of that one. But that one kind of came out of the Chesapeake area after hang time for quite a while and went off to the over the Atlantic. So definitely have expanded their watch. And so we'll continue to watch that one. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to give you kind of a lowdown on the sub hunters and what they've been doing for the last 2 weeks. They have been beaten down a path. Now, notice you got a lot of stuff going. Notice the yellow over the Black Sea. That kind of give you a good indicator as well. And then notice a flurry of stuff coming out of Jacksonville Naval Air Station. But notice where they're going. Off the coast of North Carolina, off the coast of Virginia, and then notice there's a lot of work off over in the Hawaii side of things, right? So you've got Seattle, Tacoma area beating down a path over off the UK. They've been looking at things there too. So if we look at it from a video perspective, kind of really tells the picture here. Same thing. Again, this is the last 2 weeks of sub hunters. This is both Navy P3s and P8s. As you can see, the different altitudes, the different areas that they've been touching. But it is quite compelling. I think there are 176 P8s, and then I think 125 or 26 P3s in that mix. But again, that is very, very, 2 weeks, almost 300 flights. So definitely got eyes on the oceans and the coastlines as we are out looking for those things. And then look at Portugal, just kind of a beatdown. Like I said, we've stood up shop in Portugal, which is a kind of new for us in terms of being there. I know we're getting ready to put in a bunch of things as well from the flashbang campaign. So, and there it is over the Baltic Sea, as you can see, way up north too, looking for subs. Now remember, the Soviets have put 70 subs into the water. That's plus the Chinese. They have about 70 plus our own. So if things go hot, it's going to get pretty crazy, really, at the end of the day. So because everything's going to be coming out of the water. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty wild sight, actually, at least for a couple of minutes before we all go white and into the light, so to speak. So, all right, now this is, let's see, we talked about the sub hunters. Okay, let me get on over here to our board. We're going to take a look at the activity going on from a volcanic ash perspective. It has calmed down a little bit. We were up to about 11 last week. We do have this area up here. We've had 3 active volcanoes right there just outside of the Aleutians. I called those the Azores the other day. My bad. You know, it all just kind of melts together as soon as you hit live. So, but anyway, this is up here in Russia. We had 3 of them going there, and then we've got this. This is Krakatoa that's popping off, and then of course our normals down here in Central South America. But pay attention to this just from a weather perspective. They have changed the routes, and I'll show you that here in a minute with the NOTAMs to avoid some of that. But here we go. UK records hottest day ever amid heat apocalypse. They're talking temperatures of 104 to 106 Fahrenheit coming up this week in the UK, which is a scorcher. It's a record for them. I can tell you, someone that has traveled quite a bit into Germany and quite a bit into the UK, they don't have air conditioning. Most places don't have air conditioning. It's pretty rare. And when you get above 85 degrees, it is sweltering over there. It's not pleasant. It's not good. You really have to feel for these folks because it's going to be really, really hot. So, all right. Now let's hop over here to Flashbang's calendar for today. See what he's got. He's on travel. You can see he's got some. I guess he's headed up to Rhode Island or that general area. Now we'll bounce over here to. Let's see. We'll pull up the weather map here for a minute. This is my radar. And you can see all of the locations he's headed to. This looks like it's headed home, but these are VR. Sorry, that is not home. Actually, that is Rhode Island. That's today. But he's headed up to Philly. It looks like, and then up here in his normal area, quite a bit though. Just look at the size of those TFRs. Like I said, the guy has massive TFRs. You see this one up here at the very top of our screen. That type is a very small footprint. That's kind of the regular size. That's what Trump had. But you get over here to Flashbang, and they've got these massive circles over him. So, again, I think it has to do with the fact that he is just not very agile. And it takes him a long time to figure out, A, where he is, and B, where he's going. And so, they got to give him more space for incoming things. So, okay. A little back away from this. As you can see, the fires are starting to pop as everything is drying out. And let's take a look at this one. We're going to talk a little bit about Central and South America. Now, this was a flight that popped in yesterday. I was tracking it. It flew by the call sign Jazzy 45. It was headed down into kind of that Cayman Island region, at least over here it was, where we lost track of it coming back. But remember, this is an aircraft. It's an R135. It's got that ability to really look at, something the size of an object the size of a soccer ball from about 300 miles away. Now, that right there, touch point, if you notice, it's just north of the South America area. So you got Venezuela, Colombia, all that stuff down there. Remember, that's the area that the Chinese, the Russians, the Venezuelans, the Iranians are all pushing into. So the fact that we've got an R135 down there, taking a look at things tells you that the area is starting to get very active. We've seen this a couple times now where they've gone down and kind of looked at it. This is probably, the flight yesterday was probably giving them something to look against the previous baseline so they could really indicate if it's growing, what the threat levels are, what the equipment is. I mean, they'll have eyes on a lot of stuff down there. Okay. Let's move on over to this side. Now, we're talking about Central America, and let's get over here to Panama, where they are now experiencing the largest protest in years. Basically, they're coming out basically saying that the government, because of inflation, people are getting torqued because things are costing too much money. And then the other piece is they're tired of the corruption. You're seeing this everywhere. There's about 25 countries right now around the world that are on the short list in terms of going hot. And they're all over the place. Central America, South America, Africa. There's even some in the Middle East. But it's all over the world, and it's running rampant. So we just need to keep eyes on this because, remember, if this stuff goes south, it basically forces that migration wave into southern Texas and that area. Every time it happens, it's that forced migration that they talk about in the Great Reset. If you remember, I've showed you this a couple times where that's all part of their plan, right? If you look at their little eye chart here, so to speak, if you can see it, I know it is a little small, but still, Involuntary migration right there in the middle. Climate action failure. Notice that green one's right in the middle, and you got extreme weather. You'll notice the things that are going on and the things you see on this map. It's not a coincidence, folks. They are driving all of it. And so now you think, well, how are they driving the weather? Well, I've shown you in the past on the NOTAMs that they do actively mess with weather manipulation. And so we'll take a look at that today, see if it's still out there, just to show you it's basically a monkey proof, right? All right. Now, speaking of Central America, here's another one. China unveils plan to take over Latin America. Yeah, they're on the move, folks. They've got Silk Road projects all the way from Venezuela to Cuba, into Nicaragua, Costa Rica. They are putting assets on the ground, and if you look at the traffic flows from a marine perspective, lots and lots of cargo stuff headed down to those areas, and not to the U.S. But they have just been beating down that path. It looks like the lion's share stuff that is passing the U.S. is headed down to South America and the like. So here's the other reason too. U.S. is losing ground to China and Russia and South America due to a lithium rush. So everybody's basically competing for this business and driving that market. And so it looks like the U.S. is slowly losing its grip, and that we're going to have some new neighbors here pretty soon, China and Russia, because they are right at our doorstep moving in down south. Okay, now let's pop over here. We're going to take a look at the NOTAMs. Remember, I was just talking about the volcanic activity up here in this general region. You can see that's still very active. Notice the routes, for the most part, have slid south a little bit. So now instead of, you can see the purple's going east, the green's going west. But these are your primary routes for aircraft as they go across the drink. But they seem to be trying to steer clear of this general area just because we don't, need something getting shot down like a passenger airplane that's happened in the past. But if you look at the NOTAMs across the U.S., very active. We've actually had an uptick of stuff. These are mostly military operations, other than all of the stuff up here associated with flashbang. We've got a lot of new things here. These are all mil ops. Notice, though, the stuff that's going on, mil ops on the border. That is kind of one that is new. We should definitely pay attention to that. All the way across the United States, you've got stuff here. This is Canada doing things here. What are they worried about? What's on the other side of that border? Same thing down here. Notice we get south of the U.S. across the border. We've got stuff here, but we've got lots of things. We know that's from immigration, these pushes here, but a lot of stuff going on. And then, of course, if we get across the drink, looking at the NOTAMs into this general region, one thing I want to point out is notice how tight the available airspace to fly in is becoming over the Black Sea. Remember before, this line was a little further north, didn't jolt down quite as far as this, and we've also got Turkey also pinching off some space. So for us to fly that R135 in there, that Q4, we're having to follow a very tight path to keep it in and out of there without compromising it, right, or getting shot down flying into this zone. And then again, up here in this general area, we know we've got a pretty heavy push. It looks like Belarus may be coming into the fold of just becoming part of Russia again. So we'll continue to watch that. But this is, if you look at Europe in general, this whole area, Eastern Europe, is into Russia, is just peppered with military operations. And then you get over here into France and this side, that's a little concerning. Just the fact they got so much going on there, it really kind of tightens up where you can fly commercially, and then you increase the risk as you fly commercially. For example, if you start flying in, say, to Israel, the flight paths take you right across here. You go across Serbia and a bunch of other areas that, they've got a lot of new missile defense systems they just got from China. And it's just a matter of time. You get that many commercial aircraft in there that's something, a potential for, something getting shot down. So, all right, that's going to be your NOTAMs. Again, I couldn't cover all of these if I did this for a week. There's just so many. It's absolutely incredible. All right. Going to take a quick look at the military ship tracks, see if we've got anything new. Again, we're looking for arrows, not dots. It looks to me like we're still sitting on quite a few dots. Most of the stuff we see here arrow-wise are going to be Coast Guard across the United States, at least on the coastal side. But we are watching this area to see if we get anything new that looks to be either Chinese or Russian. It doesn't look like it right now. Matter of fact, U.S. government vessel, that's probably, let's see if it gives us a picture. What are we looking at here? Very hard to tell. Let me go to more info. Let's see what we're dealing with. So, all right, I'm not a Navy guy, so I'm just going to try and blow this up. You guys can see. That looks pretty impressive. So, looks like that one's down there right in that general area that we're watching. At least it's a U.S. asset, not Chinese or Russian. But yeah, we'll continue to watch that. I'm sure we're going to increase our presence down there. And then these look to be local assets. All right. Again, over here in the Black Sea area, Constanta is an area we watch them kind of pepper in and out. I'm noticing a lot more of the military dots starting to show up here. Health control, I think that's always funny. Back here to the NOTAM for one quick second. I mentioned to you guys about the weather manipulation. Now, most of you have probably seen this, but I'll just point it out again. Exercises all the way through August 26th. What does it say? Weather modification technology flight. So just to show you that they are actually manipulating the weather. All right. Okay. Now let's get over to this one. Russia is basically given a formal order to target Ukraine's long-range weapons from the U.S. Yeah, that'd be the HIMARS. So they're getting ready to smoke them. But we knew that was coming. Last time we watched the HIMARS engage targets across the border in Russia. They're now starting to talk about doing it in Crimea, and it looks like Russia is going to start taking these weapon systems out. So there goes your government dollars just being wasted. So, all right. Now, this one pay attention to. This is basically Iran, Turkey, and Russia. They have a trilateral agreement. They started it in 2017. But the reason I'm pointing this out is because Putin is right now, the three of them are meeting. They're all getting together, working out deals. Iran's getting some sweet deals on new oil and gas and things like that. But the reason I say this is because 2,700 years ago, Ezekiel actually wrote about this and put it. It's in the book of Ezekiel, talking about this agreement. Now, this agreement's never taken place in history at all. And so started in 2017, and they are just getting stronger together as time goes on. And so remember, these guys are going to be the primaries when it comes to Ezekiel 38. All right. So can't make this stuff up. All right, let's take a look at the Ukrainian map just to see what's happening as of late. I don't see any alerts yet in terms of strikes across the country. But it looks like they are still just getting pounded right here in this general area. I imagine we'll continue to watch that whole section just kind of start creeping to the west over time. It seems to be very slow and go, but again, pay attention and notice here Black Sea. Let's see what this one is. Looks like American P-8 surveillance planes will fly over the Bulgarian Black Sea territory waters as part of their new Bulgarian-based Breeze exercise instead of the canceled Ukrainian-based Breeze exercise. So, all right. So it looks like that is why we're seeing that P-8 activity go on right here in that general area. Again, right next to the port of Constanta. Very important. All right. Biggs Army Airfield. So we're going to take a quick look at some of the departures. One thing I am going to point out on this departure, that is a Kaleta Air 747. That's that big white 747. That is a troop carrier headed to Los Angeles. From there, it'll probably head across the drink to Asia. And then that's the only thing we got right now coming in and out. But I will tell you, this aircraft does not show on the arrival board, just on the departure board. So, and it looks like it's actually flying right now. You can see the green aircraft taking off. So it looks like it is already outbound, 37,300 feet at 564 miles an hour. Okay, over to Ramstein now. This place is getting pretty busy. You'll see the arrivals. We've got an Atlas Air 767, a Camber Flight 747 coming out of Dover. And then if we get over here to the departure side of the house, that Camber Flight we're going to look at in just a second. Don't have a destination on that, never do. This one looks like it's headed to Salt Lake City. That's a national cargo. Got a Reach C-17 and a couple more Reaches, actually. 2 more Reaches that are in the general area but with no destination, and a couple C-130s on the board. So Ramstein's getting very busy, very active. Now, as we get into the next piece of this, sorry folks, the dogs are in here with me. I had a guest arrive minutes before the show, unannounced, and it always stirs up the house. So my apologies. But here are your camera flights. You've got 5 flights right now. Notice this one's rolling out of Turkey, one out of Ramstein. This one's coming out of actually Columbus, Ohio, and then 2 others. This one coming out of Kuwait. So we'll continue to watch that. But again, very active for the camera flights. 5 of them on the board right now for a Wednesday. That's pretty spectacular, so to speak. But we're expecting to see that actually because we know there is a very large uptick in assets going to Europe and to Asia right now. And so we've got to get to that 300,000 level in terms of troops. We're at 100,000, so that's going to indicate a lot of flights. All right. So, okay, there's that one. Now let's bounce over here to the Brits. As you will see, a couple flights coming inbound from looks like Labrador. They were probably in Canada last couple of days. We were looking at that. And then we've got the UK aspect, everything kind of feeding in and out of there. And then you'll notice things headed all the way down right here into the corner. That's at 39,000 feet. So probably headed into either Turkey or on down into the Middle East. Could be going into Bahrain. Could be headed into Jordan or even Israel for that matter. So, and then you got this one up here in Poland that's just probably about to land pretty close to the border. Then we get over to the Ruskies. This is one that just popped up coming out of Moscow. I don't see really where it's going. Look like it may just be doing some activity, touch and goes there. So really nothing to see. Omni, we got one flight headed to Japan. It looks like coming out of Seattle. That just took off and just getting airborne. It's at 30,000 feet, 532 miles an hour. And that is a Boeing 767-300, probably an ER, extended range, which would be an ETOPS aircraft, which stands for engines turn or people swim. Okay. Over here to the Navy logistics. Now, this one we're going to start to watch a little closer because they are moving a lot of equipment, just like the Air Force is with their C-17s on their Reach. So the Navy's variant of the Reach is the CNV, but you can see a lot of activity headed down into. They're right here next to Italy right now, but you've got them up here in Europe headed southbound. We'll see if they go into Africa where they end up, but it looks to be climbing out. 25,100 at 342 miles an hour. So it looks like that one just took off. But and then this one here is in the U.S., 40,000 foot at 539 miles an hour. So that one is scooting. Okay, this is going to be your Swift Air flights. This is the immigrant-related stuff. We had a flurry of activity south of the border this morning, but now it looks like we've got a lot of flights headed to the interior side. I don't know if this is, we're doing the Amazon thing again or what the deal is, but boy, it sure would be nice to know really what's going on with these. That's a flurry of activity for moving illegals. Now, I know our southern border is getting inundated, but I just find it hard to believe that we're sending so many people back given this current administration. So until then, I'll just remain a skeptic and I'll just keep talking about it and showing it. One day we'll all have the aha moment. Could it all be related to Amazon? Maybe some of it, but the stuff that's not going north into the country, that's just headed south into Central and South America, definitely a suspect to me. All right, over here to our weather manipulators. This one was flying a little earlier this morning. Don't know what it was doing all the way up there, but it is nonetheless. And then notice we got some aircraft that look to be grounded here in up in Alaska, one in Hawaii, and then peppered Florida all the way east coast, which is also kind of in line with the all the stuff we see on the eastern seaboard. So, okay, I think I've covered everything. We'll jump back over to Sky Glass as we bounce out, but we're sitting still. Last count 359. Let me see. We'll let it run here real fast to see if it's gone up. Now down to 338, so it's actually dropped down a little bit. So, all right, that's going to do it. You guys, listen, be safe out there. Stay frosty. Definitely keep that powder dry. It is a great time to get your house in order. So we'll see you guys on Friday for the live show. That's it. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworksus.com.